Hello everyone, welcome to QA Secret. Today we will discuss on the following topics. First we will discuss on test generator, and here we will discuss on how to record a test and how to generate different locators. And secondly we will discuss on how to preserve the authentication state of a user so that we can avoid login of a specific user multiple times. Next we will discuss on debugging in Playwright, so how we can debug using Playwright inspector. And the last topic we will discuss on browser developer tools to find different elements in Chrome developer option. Discuss on test generator. So using test generator we can record our actions on the browser and convert to any programming language on which we are writing the script. And when Playwright test generator generate the script, so if it finds multiple web elements, so Playwright automatically improves the locator so that it will match uniquely the target element. So there are multiple ways where how we can open the test generator. So there are multiple ways actually. So one of the ways is using code gen. So using the code gen command you can directly open Playwright test generator for a particular website. So here if you see my screen, so here I am passing the URL of the target application. So if I give the URL of the target application as a parameter to code gen, so automatically Playwright test generator will open the site, and where we can record our script or actions. And if you do not pass the parameter, then it also opens the test generator, and there you can directly navigate to any of the site and you can record your steps. And it also supports, means you can emulate the specific viewport size, device, color scheme as well, using the -viewport size parameter. And there are different ways to open Playwright generator actually. So I only highlighted the important ones, so already mentioned in the notes. So let's run one of the command in the terminal, and we'll see how the Playwright inspector opens. So here I am going to the terminal and directly will open the site. So I am currently in my workspace, so I'll directly hit this command. Let's see. So if you see here the Playwright inspector already open, and it already opened the site, and the site got redirected to do MVC. So if you see here the target library is set as Java, because currently I am working in Java, so target library is set. So but you can record the script in any language you want. So suppose here if you see there is a record button, so if you click on the record button, it will record your action. So let's record the action. So I'm clicking on this link, and after that I'm clicking on this view on GitHub, and I'm clicking the browser back button. Let's see. So if you see in the Playwright inspector, the steps got recorded actually. So if I copy these steps, and if I go to my IntelliJ, so I'll create one class, Java class, recorded step. So let's paste. So let's see. So I copied everything, so let me delete this. So I already imported the required packages, so now I don't see any error. So I'll change the view to wrap so that we can see the complete code. So Now the script is recorded, so I'll close this Playwright recorder or inspector. So the browser got closed. Let's see. So let's run the script. So if you see, the test got passed. So if I run it again, let's see. So it is opening the site, it is clicking, and it is passed. So the test was passed. So there is another way how we can open. If you go to the second command, so here I am not giving any parameter, so we can directly pass the site at the runtime. So I am running the script now. So here I open the code gen directly without mentioning any URL. So it opened the Playwright inspector, and if you see here, the site didn't load. So what I can do, I'll go to https://www.google.com, and so it is recording. And if you see in the Playwright inspector, it is already recorded. So if I search QA secret, hit enter, so you can see the results. So what is QA stands for, so that's it. So I'll close this. So if you see, the steps got recorded successfully. So this is how you can record the scripts and record your steps, and you can reuse them in your script. You can open Playwright test generator in a specific viewport size. So by using this selected command I am highlighting in the screen, so I can copy this command and I can go to terminal and I run this command. So it will open the Playwright inspector using that specific viewport. So if you see, the browser got opened, and here if you see the code, also the viewport size is already mentioned, and the page is open to the Playwright dev. So here you can also record the step with a specific viewport size. And here if you see, so if you want to change your code to any language, like I changed to PyTest. So see, if you see, the code got changed. So you can convert your code to any language and export actually. So the next we'll discuss on I'll close this one browser. So we will discuss on how to preserve the authenticated state. So basically the use of this actually to save time in real time scenario, like there is one scenario where you are using a specific user to logging in and perform multiple operations. So in that case, instead of logging multiple times, you can log in only once, and you preserve the authentication state. And after that you just reuse that authentication step so that we can save the time, so user no need to log in multiple times. So using code gen with hyphen save storage option, we can save cookies and local storage at the end of the session. So basically, and we can reuse that auth.json file which will be getting generated when we record the steps, and using that auth.json we can reuse the same storage state which will help us to avoid login. So here if you see my screen, here I have written this code gen command. So here I want to enable this hyphen save storage option to auth.json. So whatever the session and the cookies information, this will be stored in auth.json, and using this auth.json we can write another test case where we no need to do login step again, and it will do the rest of the operation. So let's do the practical. So if I am copying this command and I am going to the terminal, and here I have opened the terminal, and I am hitting return, so that it will open the Playwright inspector. So it open the Playwright inspector, and here I have used this demo site. So what I'll do, I'll just log in, and I'll give the user called dummy, and here I am giving the user dummy, and I'm clicking the login button. So now the user got logged in. So now what I can do, I can go to the inspector, and I can stop the recording, and after that I can close the browser. So the recording got stopped. So if we go to our workspace, so there is one file called auth.json got generated, because this file we already gave in the hyphen save storage option. So if you open this file, here certain information related to cookies and session got stored in this JSON file. So basically Playwright use this file to save the local storage and cookies options to avoid login. So what I did already, so here I have written one test where actually I am where I am storing the sorry, I opened the wrong one. So save authentication actually. So in this, actually whatever we did using code gen, the same thing I have written in the code. So basically I copied from the test generator. So the demo site, it is, so what it is doing, it is creating one Playwright instance, and after that it is creating one browser instance, and based on the browser instance it is creating one browser context, and from the browser context it is opening a page object. So and after that we are navigating to the URL, and here we are logging to the using the dummy user, and here on the browser context I am calling this storage state function, which is taking the storage state option, and I am setting the path to auth.json. So whatever the session and cookies information that got stored as a file auth.json. So we can do this using this storage state function. We can do through coding also, and the easiest way you can generate this auth.json file using code gen. So after that what I did, so I have loading this auth.json in one of the test case, where what I did, I navigating to the same site, and if you see I'm navigating to the same site. Here in the so what I did, actually I'm using the same site, and I'm doing certain operations like adding to cart one phone, and I'm doing certain steps. But before that what I did, actually, so I created one Playwright instance, create a browser instance, and using browser context I am just enabling this set storage path, and I am giving the path of this auth.json. So using this file it will load the last session of that user. So there will be the home screen will be directly displayed, and without login we can able to perform the same operation. So this auth.json file is already present in the workspace, already there. So I just give the same path. So we have to use here set storage path function from browser context. So in new context we can call this storage set storage state path function, and we give the auth.json file, and it will do the task. So let's see is it working or not. So I'll run this. So if you see here, already the dummy is logged in, and it is able to perform the operation, and the test case got passed. So here the user didn't log in, but we can able to achieve all the steps. So basically this is a very good feature where we can save lot of time, where the requirement is we have to log in multiple times in multiple test cases. So this is the code actually I have written. So that's just a simple example how we can save storage the authenticated state of the user. And another way, like there is another good feature, like you can also open the Playwright test generator using pause method actually. So what you can do in the code, if you call pause method, it will just pause the steps there, and it will open the Playwright inspector, and from that step you can record your things. So if you see here, I am calling this page.pause method before navigating to the any page. So what it will do, so it will open the browser, and it will open the page, and it will stop for me, and from there I can record the script, and so that I can get the code. So if you, this is very important method basically. So this will help in debugging us also. So instead of doing individual steps, going waiting and debugging there to that particular step, we can directly go to a particular step, and from that step we can write the page.pause method, and from that step we can start debugging. But in Selenium it is not possible, but in Playwright it is possible. So I will discuss on this later actually in this video itself. So let's see. So if you directly run this, so if you see here I didn't navigate to any browser, so it automatically opened the Playwright inspector. So if I do https so I can click record, and I hit return. So if you see, I'm able to record the things. So I can click on Google search, I can click on Gmail, I can do anything, and all the steps is getting recorded. So also so using page.pause method also you can achieve the same information without using CodeGen. So here we will discuss on debugging and how we will do debugging in Playwright using Playwright inspector. So to run in debug mode, we have to set the Playwright debug environment variable to 1, so that it will launch the Playwright inspector when you debug your script. So by default it will set your browser to headed mode, and the default timeout will be set to 0 here. And there is another way we can do the activate the debug mode is page.pause method. So suppose so there are two use case here. So if you want to debug your script from the starting point of your script, then you can use this Playwright debug environment variable to 1. So but if you want to debug from a specific step, then you can directly write the page.pause method there, and the debugger point will set from there, and we can debug from that point. So let's see in doing practical. So let's go to my script. So here I have written a sample script. So I want to debug this script actually. So what I can do, I'll right click, modify run configuration, and here I will set the environment variable to 1. So and I'll click OK. So now if I run my script here, it will open the Playwright inspector. So if you see here, from the starting point of the script, it open the Playwright inspector, and if you see in the page.navigate method, it is already paused. So if I step down or step over here using F10, so it will go to the next URL, and it will wait for the next option. So if I click, so it is clicking the login button, and now the pointer is in username field. So you can directly click this by clicking this F10 button. You can debug and individual steps, and if I directly click resume, then it will perform the operation and the test case got passed. So we can also do the same thing using page.pause method actually. So what we can do, we can modify our own configuration. I am just trying to remove this environment variable, and here sorry, so here I can write in the after entering the login name, I'll try to debug. So I'll write page dot pause method. So here, so my debugging will start from this line, so directly I can run. And if you see, the Playwright inspector opened after entering the login button. So from this line I can debug. So if I go to the next step, it will show me the steps actually. So all the actionability logs I can see in the below actually. So if you see, page.pause method got passed, and after that the default navigation timeout got passed, and after that it enter waiting for this login password field and do all the actionability checks here. So if I click again, step over that, so it will enter the, it is waiting and waiting for the login password field, and so if I click again, it will enter the password. So now the pointer is in login button. So if you see the red symbol, it is pointing the upcoming locator, and so whenever I am debugging, so automatically these actionability checks are happening. And suppose you want to find a locator of this close method, you can click on this pick locator method, and if you select this one, so in the Playwright inspector you can see the find the locator of the close button also. So it got closed, I by mistakenly closed, so timeout error exceeded, so because of that it got closed, but you can do that. So so this is the use case of this page.pause and pause method. So this is the good thing, we can debug from any point in our Playwright script, instead of waiting and doing all the stuff from the beginning. So this feature is not there in Selenium, but in Playwright we can put the debugger point any line of the script, and we can start debugging from there. So coming to the and here also we can do live editing actually. So it will means you can change the locator by using this pick locator function, and you can see the locator is getting highlighted. So I can show a practical example of that. So what I can do, so let's run this program again. So if I do pick locator, so here if you see this locator, if I change, it will not find. So I can do again login user name. So now if it is highlighting, so that shows this is the correct locator. Okay, so now I can write login password. Let me see, is it highlighting the correct locator? Yes, so it is highlighting the correct locator, so you can directly edit the locator and you can verify, okay, this the locator is correct or not. So at that point there only we are discussing. So the next next thing is actionability logs. So that we have already discussed that whenever we are debugging the point, these actionability logs we are able to see. So before performing any operation, all the actionability checks are already performed by the Playwright automatically. So that point I have already mentioned here. And there is one another thing where we can do this debugging actually. So when running debug mode with Playwright debug environment variable to console, so a Playwright object will be created in the developer tool console, and using certain methods we can see the locators actually. So here I have list down those important methods like Playwright dot selector $ selector. So what it will do, it will query the Playwright selector using the actual Playwright query engine. So we can see the directly that web element in our DOM, so that will display. So here we are just passing the selector auth form is equal to text login, and it is returning the button login actually. So if you put $$ symbol and put the selector, so it will give you the list of matching elements actually. So and and this Playwright inspect inspector, it will directly create a locator, and it will highlight in that developer option actually. So and the Playwright locator selector, it will create a locator object actually. So if you pass the selector and if you call this locator method, it will return you that Playwright locator object. And similarly Playwright dot selector element, it will generate you the it will generate the complete selector. So basically what we do, we will select an element in the UI and we will pass the current reference by $0, and it will give us the locator actually. So we can do these things practically. So I already mentioned few examples here, so individual methods. So let's do it. So what we can do, I will stop this execution, and what I'll do, I'll remove this I'll keep this page.pause method, because if you do only this console, it is not working currently. So what I can do, I'll just put page dot pause method, and now what I'll do, I'll modify the run configuration, and I'll add the environment variable to Playwright debug equal to console, and you click OK and apply. Okay, so now let's run this one. So what it will do, it will open the Playwright inspector. So what I can do, I'll just open the inspect, and we can open the developer tool. So I'll go to console. So I have written few of the locators. So if I want to highlight suppose I want to verify, okay, is this selector is correct, text is equal to phone. So what I can do, I can go to the console, and here I write this one. So Playwright dot dollar and text is equal to phone. So if I hit enter, so it is giving me this phone element actually. So if you see in the see my screen, the phone's element is getting highlighted. Similarly there is another method called so if you put $, and if you pass the selector, it will give you the list of elements. So what I did here, I already taken the locator to save time, so already written that one. So here what actually it is doing, so I have check in the UI inspector that for phones, laptop and monitors the ID is same. So what I did, Playwright object dot $, and I put id is equal to item C. So if you hit return, then it will return you three different elements. So here if you see, the number is 3, and these are the list items. So if I'm mouse over, it is highlighting these 3 elements. So this is very useful method actually, so which will help us in debugging and writing the correct locator. So Playwright inspect, so what it will do, it is same method only. So it will highlight the web element. So if I click here and enter, so it is pointing me to the correct to that web element actually. So if you see it will move to element section, and it is highlighting that element. And similarly there is another method I have written. So here Playwright locator text is equal to phone. This is also doing the same thing actually. So if I do here and click, so it is returning the locator object actually. So basically in Playwright the locator class is used for locating the element. So here I have used text is equal to phone. So if you open this object, so you can see all these methods: filter, fast, and nth is equal to 0, elements. So you can see all the options. So basically we are selecting the selector thing. So here I can see text is equal to phone. So it is actually returning an locator object. So yeah, basically we use these techniques while debugging. When there is a failure, we want to debug certain things, so it is very useful. So because it is using the actual Playwright engine, so that will be helpful actually. And the another good one is we can see this is very if I do this one, so there is, okay, let me go to the documentation, Playwright documentation. So here Playwright documentation, so I want to use this one. So what I can do, playwright.selector. So here I have I'll just select this one. So this element is selected. So now I will write playwright.selector, and I'll pass $0. So it will give me the locator of that element. So enter. So if you see, it gave me the locator of that phone. So using this one also I can use in my script. So this is very good actually. So these are the certain things which will help us in debugging. So we have almost covered everything. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Thanks everyone.